Are we recording? Yeah, we're recording. Okay, hello, we're recording. Oh. Hello and welcome back. The Silvia is finally mechanically finished. The headlights and cosmetics come later. You may or may not have seen this in the background of one of my other videos, but here's some clips of the process. On today's episode, we're gonna take this dang old LS1 and put it in the Silvia. This is a ton of fun. So to get the steering rack in, you have to drop the subframe because it doesn't clear the header. And then to get the starter in, you have to do it before you put the steering rack in. So then I have to drop the subframe again and then put the starter in and then put the steering rack on the subframe and then put the steering rack up. And then hope that the starter clears because this fitting goes directly into. Imagine your starter going out and having to take half the car apart. That would be horrible, right? Yeah, who wants to do that? Anyways, here's an update. Nothing fits. Gonna have to relocate the subframe or steering rack and get a different starter. Because that's where the steering shaft's supposed to go, and we have like a 1/4 inch of room. I made fuel lines last night, mounted the fuel filter, did power steering lines, just got a little bit more prep work left to do on the engine, put it together and we can... Alright, so first things first, we're doing this LS1 right-hand drive, swapped S13 X's, cut them off. We're looking for maximum trans-tunnel clearance. Alright, so what we're going to do this time, I've done this a couple times in the past, but a little bit different. Normally I just like cut 25 mil out of the middle and move it together. But this time what we're going to do is I'll drill out all the spot welds, factory spot welds, cut an even line here at the motor mount plates, and then move the whole rack forward to where this edge is at the front of this seam, and then we're going to weld it all back together. I got all the spot welds drilled out on the bottom, so you can see this is all still one piece. And then what we're going to do is, after I get it cleaned up a little bit more, put this in here. I should line this front up with the front there. And then we'll get it all welded up after it's all square. Pull the clamps off now, weld it all up. But it's looking pretty good. All right, I've done it. I'm finished. I got the corners all plated up and boxed. The whole front is all seam welded. Boxed up over here, flip it over. I welded all the spot welds back up, welded every seam. Well, that's not gonna work. Yep. So what do you do when you put aftermarket brake lines in? They won't fit in the factory holder. We're gonna make a bracket and relocate it. Here's step one. Step two, bolt on the first piece of the bracket. Then we draw the orientation and we'll measure how far down we want to relocate. Now that I have all that done, I'll finish making it out. All right, well, I may or may not have got distracted and skipped a couple steps, but here we are. I made these little section pieces in the middle to drop it down. What we're gonna do is take our factory brake brackets, put them on right here, tack weld them in, and then this thing will bolt in just like factory. Well, does this not fit absolutely perfect? All I gotta do is take the bracket back off, paint it, and then I'm gonna put a grommet up here. All right, we got lights now. One more before. Got a bunch of shadows too, huh? But yeah, see, this is the dilemma we got here. Oil pan leaking, and it's just like literally sitting. I started it up one time, and it's just leaking all out the back over here. Like, it's all dry, so it's not the remain seal. But we got a big oil leak coming from the back of the pan. It's all wet up in the crack here. POV, you're an impact. Walk around this. Swing this sucker out of the way. This one out and away. It's crazy, like this car's got all sikky stuff, and so did that car. And both these cars, right after they got finished, the oil pan started leaking. It's crazy. It's like coincidence or something. I don't know. Weird. All right, and then what we got? Battery cable off, Alright, so my mount flipped around, but I got the subframe out. Motor's just floating. I was filming, I swear. But yeah, so now I'm gonna drain the oil, take off these oil lines right here. Like I said, I got the steering rack just tied up because I didn't want to drain the power steering. So, like I said, we just got it floating in here, no gearbox, nothing. Kind of crazy, but hey, making it work. All right, the view probably fucking sucks, but hey, dude, I'm recording shit. So I don't feel the relocation lines. Right at the spot where you can't grip them. I honestly don't even know how to tighten these. Hope I don't miss the drain pan. Good. The best about the sicky pan is those fittings are super close to get. Oh shit. The fan's blowing the oil. Oh no, stop. And we're gonna. Oh, battery's almost dead. Alright, welcome. So I kind of know what I'm doing, but I don't exactly know what I'm doing. What I think I'm doing is we're putting a new base map on this car. This is a car that I built for a customer, and I'm finishing it up, and we're supposed to be taking it to the dyno here shortly. So I had Freddie send me over a base map, and right now I'm flashing the ECU. It's updated. I loaded the file. Fresh fuel prime. Let's go. USB link. Everything passed. Let's start a log and start it. Starts up pretty good. Definitely running way better on this Okay, so I might not film the whole process, but detailing and assembling the interior on a Silvia that's been sitting for, I think, 6 years. As you can see, it's covered in dust. Let's see how clean we can get it. Like I said, I got all the interior panels that we'll be assembling. All cleaned up back here. Passenger side door pan. Passenger side floor mat. Check that one out. That one looks good. And if you haven't seen this, I built this fuse box for this car. The entire car runs off this fuse box, ECU, all the electronics. It's got everything works off factory switches. The only aftermarket switch is this one for the fans. It fits right in a factory location. We got power folding mirrors. We got a dome light, 2 dome lights actually. Wipers work on the switches, hazards work, headlights, blinkers, ignition switch, everything. So this car's pretty sick. I wired this car probably almost 3 years now. Radio works. Got a whole radio harness. We got power mirrors, auto works and everything. But yeah, this is a pretty cool car. What's that saying? Like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Well, I wanted to take the shifter off for a couple reasons. For one, I wanted to make some heat shielding for around it. And I have a boot I'm gonna put on, and I needed to tighten the shifter up itself. So now that that's all done, I can start assembling the rest of the interior. Or reassemble. Look at this thing. All the clips. Perfect condition. I probably pulled this out 20 times. I haven't brought the clip yet. Fingers crossed. I'm about to take it off the jack stands right now. I finished up the rest of the random stuff last night. The power steering fitting on the rack wound up starting to leak. So I had to take off the tie rods again because the fitting, if you can see it, it's right up in there, those two, and you can't get to it from anywhere. So basically I had to pull the whole tie rod off, and then after I did that, I turned the rack all the way out the opposite way, and I was able to get to the lines with some curve wrenches. But I got both of those sealed back up. That was unfortunate to happen, but at least I did it before I took it off, put it back on the ground. I got the hood that I have to start trimming. I'm gonna start trimming that, and I'm hoping to take this thing on a test drive this weekend. So we'll see how that goes. First time actually getting this thing out in the sun. All right, so I've kind of been dreading this, but we're at that stage now. I've been putting it off too because I needed everything to be final before I started chopping into this hood. But as you can see, What I'm gonna start by doing is just cutting out the inner shell. Back here, right above the intake, it's also hitting the inner webbing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by marking centers of everything, marking the edges of everything, and then slowly trimming away piece by piece. All right, so after measuring for quite a while, it might not look like it because I don't have many marks left. I kind of did most of the marking on the bottom. But if you can see here, I drilled a hole and it's directly in the center of the weld. That's the weld right there in the center, so that's perfect. Take this hole saw bit, 4-inch hole saw. Oh, battery died, dude. Dang, these rigid tools are the worst, I swear. I really don't think I've ever picked up a rigid tool and been able to finish a job before the battery died. Oh, dude. Once I cut this out some more, that should fall down almost perfectly. Perfectly flush over the pipe. There's this pipe here, so that should sit perfect in there. I'll probably have to keep raising this radius the further down we go, because you can see we still got some more room, but we're about to get to this point. This is what's next. Cutting this radius out. Oh cow, that fits so good. Alright, no joke, I'm probably like another hour in. Check out all my scribbles. I keep taping over my scribbles and then making more scribbles. Maybe 9 hours into cutting this hood up. But look at it. It's magnificent. I guess I could peel this tape off. All I got left now is to paint the front core support. Here I am digging through bins, but luckily everything is, for the most part, decently organized. So I'm gonna grab everything I need out of here. They lay some paint today. Okay, well I got all my supplies, got my pearl, and I got my gun. It was in terrible shape from the last time I used it, so I got it pulled all apart. I'm gonna clean it up and then pull the intake off of this thing, get the core support out, go grab the front crash bar, and then get to spraying. Got my makeshift spray section right here. This one's hanging up. Okay, so this is it. Like I said, I built this car for a friend. He's got OEM brick headlights, so don't worry, he's not getting like Tahoe headlights or something. I wish I had better quality videos of the whole process. I kind of just ripped most of that stuff from Instagram because I was way before I even had YouTube, building this car last year. But hopefully you did enjoy what I had, and maybe you like the car. And until next week, see you later.